Motivation. Motivation is also an important element of emotional intelligence. It is a driving force behind successful leaders. Motivated individuals are driven to achieve beyond their own expectations and the expectations set by their colleagues. They are highly passionate about their work, they enjoy learning, they take pride in their job well done, and they constantly strive to do even better. Another characteristic of motivated leaders is that they remain optimistic, even in times of seeming despair. They tend to use self-regulation and motivation to overcome frustration and or depression resulting from failure. As Goldman points out, highly motivated leaders are committed to their institutions and are invariably long-term employees who perform above and beyond status or money. Empathy. Goldman argues that empathy is perhaps the most easily recognized element in EI. It is clearly not adapting to other people's emotions as your own or trying to please everyone. Instead, empathy involves careful consideration of the feelings of your colleagues together with other factors in the decision-making process. Simply put, Siegel in 1997 refers to empathy as an individual's ability to manage his or her relationship with others and the skills to be objective in the decision-making process. Social skills. We should have social skills. The final element of emotional intelligence being discussed deals with one's ability to manage one's relationship with others. Social skills should be considered friendliness with a purpose, maintaining the ability to lead individuals in desired directions. It also refers to the ability to find common ground and rapport with others. Leaders who possess social skills know when to make an emotional plea or when to appeal to reason. King Lawrence accepts the truism that leaders cannot do all the work themselves. And this is Dr. King's daughter, Lawrence. She's a big-time vice president for Merck. You know Merck Pharmaceuticals? She's based in Philadelphia. She's probably making a whole bunch of figures. She suggests that she has a PhD. She suggests that the leader's task is to get the job done through others. In other words, you delegate, right? Isn't that what we do as a director of a film? Mr. Starks, you know that, right? The director has to delegate, but the producer also has to take care of different departments in film production, right? The budget, the casting, who's doing what, set decoration, it's incredible. So the director has to have a lot of these skills in the making of a short film or television production. And so that's exactly why I'm doing this, because it relates to medicine, hospitals, and it also relates to motion picture. She submits, as with anything in life that is worthwhile, it takes time and commitment to learn to work through others. The available research also reported an inverse correlation between technical skills and cognitive skills as one moves up in leadership circles. However, intellectual or technical skill was of no significance at the highest level of successful leadership. Instead, emotional intelligence made the crucial difference between a mediocre leader and an effective leader. So that's why we covered emotional intelligence first, right? The soft skills that one should have, empathy for others. Tucker in 2000 argued that since intelligent quotient and expertise are no longer considered the bedrock of successful leadership, then EI needs to be nurtured at least at the college level. It is of great significance to note that the Peter Principle invariably referred to workers who were promoted despite inadequate intellectual abilities and technical skills. Those promotions were invariably based on longevity and nepotism. Today, EI has taken on additional meaning. It refers to individuals who lack emotional intelligence and are doomed to become ineffective leaders. We all know what nepotism is, right? No?
Relatives.
Anybody know what nepotism is?
Relatives.
Huh?
Relatives. Relatives.
Yeah, nepotism. Over here. Y'all got to increase your vocabulary pool, right? Nepotism means that, well, I'm the boss of my company, so I'm going to hire my family members or somebody I know. That's nepotism. Look it up. All right? I'm chief honcho, so I'm hiring my people. Forget about if they're not even that qualified, then the other person that's a stranger to you. That's nepotism. It's a dangerous thing. It really is. Yeah. Goldman declared that organizations whose leaders are emotionally intelligent tend to be resilient, regardless of potential challenges now and in the future. Current research suggests EI to be the wave of the future. And the future is now. 2015, just about, right? And this study was done in 2000. Can you imagine that? Get on the bandwagon. Because if you know this well, they're going to be hiring you. I'm talking about industry. It embraces leadership skills and gives a competitive edge to organizations whose leaders are EI competent. That is, a leader's ability to lead workers, inspire confidence, thus creating a work environment which is resilient and effective. All right? Now here's the brass tacks of this presentation, right? We just covered emotional intelligence. This is the effective leadership styles that this presentation is basically about. Right? There are 6 of them through study conducted by professionals in the field, by observation, by statistical analysis, by going to different companies to see how people interact with their supervisors, administrators, workers. And they observe, they take notes, they conduct surveys. How else can you gather the data, right? You go on site and you collect the data. This is the result, right? These styles. Coercive. What does a coercive leader do? I want y'all to pay attention to this because I want you to play out some little 15-minute roles, okay, before we leave. All right. I got to get full mileage out of this class, all right? Because we got what, one more session after this one, and y'all been doing a great job all semester as actors. Now I just want you to play these roles, so pay attention to all of this, all right? Coercive leader. What does a coercive leader do? Ms. Lugo, listen. Do what I tell you. Can I get the best out of you? Do what I tell you? What, you in jail or something? They do that in jail, right? What do you call the prison guards? What do you call them guys in the prison? That watch over the inmates?
Seal.
Huh?
Seal.
Right? So, do what I tell you. It demands immediate compliance. I wonder if your parents, do you do that to your children? Do you tell them, do what I tell you?
Yes.
But is it okay for children? Is it okay with children? Is it okay?
It's okay. They have no choice.
But they're children. And what you're doing, you're instilling discipline in them, right? But is that okay in the workplace for the person who's an adult just like you?
Can't do that in the workplace.
Come on now. This is what that's doing. All right? And we're going to see where this style ends up.
Why you can't do that in the workplace?
That's a good question. See that? Some people got
I'm
an
the
argument
boss,
to that.
I'm the boss, I'm gonna tell you what to do. If you don't do it, you're fired.
But you won't get the full.
They're talking about the way in which you.
You won't get the.
Speak up.
You won't get, what you want fully from the person. Now it's like, but if you treat your workers,
That's what I'm looking at.
then you might get the full.
Yeah. But you're right, though. You're right. You got to look at that side
A
too,
lot of
brother.
bosses that say they do what I tell you to do. Simple as that, or you fired.
Again,
Or
there's
you
a lot of
suspend it.
courses like that. That's true too.
I know, but we know that.
You can actually write them up. You have resources for that.
We know that.
But the
You
boss,
can't threaten your job.
But let's see where that style ends up. Let's see where that style ends up in this study. The second one, authoritative. Come with me. It mobilizes workers towards a common vision. All right? Any ideas behind that? Any? Okay, let's move on. Number 3, democratic. What do you think about this idea? It builds consensus and team spirit through participation. It's not bad, right?
That's the best one.
It's not bad, right? So far. It's a good one. I'm part of this. When we did the short and we came down here to do a screening to see if we could refine the edit with some underlying music, cuts, remember? That was a team democratic process. Everybody had an input in that. And that's a wonderful thing. But then you might get a production film company that says, no, the producer and the editor, they're gonna call all the shots. We don't want anybody in here because there's too many ideas. But when you have an organization where all ideas are respected, you can pull this off as a group, can't you? And I think we pulled it off. So that was a democratic process. It was team editing. But I had the technical skills to pull off the edit and the experience, because I love to edit, you know? I'm not gonna tell Hollywood my secret, because it's all rhythm. It's just like laying down musical tracks. It's rhythm. Affiliative. People come first. It's a moralist. Do people come first? Do they?
That's not good.
In this day and age, you know what I'm gonna say.
Say the truth. Say the truth.
No. Maybe if you work for Google, yes. But in general, if they're companies, a lot of them, no. It depends on the company, but right now, Google.
All right. So what are we, machines?
Yes.
We're working with machines, right? Machines working with machines, automata. This creates emotional bonds, harmony, and good rapport. We know what rapport means, right? Relationship with your boss, with your co-workers. Number 5, the pace setter. Do as I do now. That person expects excellence and self-direction. 6, coaching. Try this. Basketball player coaches, that's why they call them coaches, right? Basketball coaches or baseball coaches, managers. It develops people for the future. So I guess a teacher is sort of a coach, right? We're developing people for the future, right? Okay, so let's take each of these together. Everybody with me so far? Take a pause. We'll be right back. Station